Hello, and welcome to AFSCME Corrections Update. I'm Chuck Stout, AFSCME Council 31 Labor Relations Specialist and Illinois Department of Corrections Liaison. The DOC Labor Management Standing Committee meets regularly to tackle some of the most urgent problems facing correctional employees on the front lines. The union members of the Standing Committee are local union leaders who work in correctional centers across the state, so they have a first-hand knowledge of what's actually happening on the job every day. This broadcast is aimed at keeping union members and IDOC informed about the work of the Standing Committee, the problems we resolved, and the ones we're still working on, as well as other important developments. I want to begin with an update on the issue of RIT furlough transfer meal reimbursement. As many of you will recall from the last update, CMS issued a new directive which would have violated a long-standing MOU. The MOU provided employees the choice to take a bag lunch or refuse the bag lunch and receive a modest meal reimbursement payment. At the union's demand, CMS agreed to rescind the new directive and directed IDOC to follow the MOU. But that wasn't the end of it, because executive staff in the DOC CFO's office then attempted to undermine the CMS revised direction. The union again had to intervene to secure a final resolution to the issue, and direction was issued to the facilities on 6/27 of 2024 to begin paying all those outstanding meal reimbursements. As we are all keenly aware, staffing remains a critical problem throughout DOC. AFSCME continues to press CMS and the department to expedite hiring to make headway on the staffing crisis. Among other ideas, the Standing Committee proposed a purely stopgap measure to help address this situation. It would allow retired employees previously certified as COs with valid firearms certification to return to work at the facility of employment on a 75-day contract. These employees would only be asked to work when there was a need to relieve a mandated shift of overtime or to fill a mandatory post when employees exercise the right to refuse a mandate for foreseen overtime. The department has agreed to the union's recommendation, and the parties are working to work out the details of the 70-day, 5-day contract procedure. There's been some confusion regarding the newly negotiated bridge agreement for the Correctional Counselor Series to the Correctional Casework Supervisor. First off, it's very important to remember that prior to the new AFSCME contract, which was effective July 1st, 2023, no bargaining unit employee outside the CU 500 bargaining unit had any contractual right to this position. In contract negotiations, the union was determined to address member concerns about being bypassed for the promotion, even when they were senior and possessed a well-qualified grade or numerical ranking. The department would only hire applicants with a master's degree, even though the class specification only requires equivalency to a master's. And there was no preference for senior employees, even with a master's degree. The union tried to resolve the issue through repeated grievances, but was unsuccessful due to the cross-bargaining unit bidding bar in the contract. Now, under the bridge agreement included with the new contract, correctional counselors have a right to the correctional casework supervisor position, and the department can no longer exclude employees who possess education and experience equivalent to a master's degree. The union was also successful in adding correctional casework supervisor to the upward mobility program. The details for this dual title are still being worked out between the parties, and we'll keep you updated on the progress on this issue. Inmate violence is a continuing concern for frontline employees, and the department's response has been completely inadequate. Take as example a notice recently issued to staff at Dixon Correctional Center, which reads in part as follows. On multiple occasions, and specifically 123 of 2024, individual in custody SJ Y21805, currently housed in DPU, has made verbal threats to assault staff, specifically medical and mental health staff, in an effort to get transferred from Dixon Correctional Center. While the individual in custody is currently under ERT movement, all staff are reminded to utilize extreme caution in any interactions with the individual in custody. Instead of developing additional safeguards, or better yet, transferring the convict to an actual max facility, the department removes him from TRT movement and tells staff it is all up to them to be extra careful. Well, as I'm sure you probably all guessed, the convict made good on his threats and an officer was sent to the hospital after being brutally attacked. CO Phillips was treated for mouth and arm injuries and released. To his credit, CO Phillips returned to the facility and requested a light duty assignment in lieu of the ongoing staffing crisis. AFSCME Local 1175 at Menard Correctional Center staged an informational picket on July 8th after experiencing 12 staff assaults in a 3-week period. The message was, "Our safety matters." Some 300 union members participated in the picket, which garnered widespread media attention. AFSCME activists from locals all over the state attended as well. Energy was high, and you can be assured our union will continue to turn up the heat on this administration to make our safety matter. Well, that's a wrap for this session. We hope this was a helpful way for you to get information. We'll continue these updates, so spread the word to your coworkers about these updates. Be safe out there and continue to be AFSCME strong.